Well, I don't want to die, but if I have to die, I don't want it to be on my knees. And if my children have to watch it, I want to die standing up. And I want them to know that their father was a soldier, so at least they can live with that memory. That I didn't die like an animal on the ground, being treated as a second-class citizen.
I can tell you, even your people live a much better life than oppressed people in Argentina. That's for sure.
If my people were enslaved here, and they were forced to work here for free to build this country, should they not partake in living at the same level, or at least a better life?
No. So where I'm trying to go with this is that I don't know where I was going with that,
but the Bible says that He's going to put vengeance in the hands of those who have been oppressed. Give me Revelation chapter 13, verse 9.
The problem with that is that it could be a never-ending cycle. Like action, reaction, reaction, reaction is like, when does it end? Like,
well, according to the scriptures, when the Israelites come into power, it's a perpetual kingdom.
How come you stopped to talk to them?
I just saw them and was curious about what they're saying, and that's it. And
whereabouts are you from?
We're from Argentina.
Do you think they seem hateful?
Yeah, it didn't seem very reconciliation prone. Like more on
Yeah, they don't talk about vengeance or revenge, but
It
they
sounds
are
like
saying that
They call us a hate group.
Right.
How in the world are we a hate group when we talk about loving our people?
very stiff. There's no room for discussion, or because things are like this and that's it. There is no way around it because the Bible says, and so starting from there, I don't like that because there is no discussion. So okay, why are you telling me this? Either I agree with you or we fight, because we cannot talk about it because there is no room for doubt.
We don't lie, steal, and kill. We don't do that. We're not a hate group. We're not like your neo-Nazis. We're not like the Ku Klux Klan. The Posse Comitatus. We're none of that. We are the children of Israel. We're not the Arabs. We don't have to strap bombs to ourselves and run into buildings. We got the real power, the power of Israel, the only God.
About your first impressions of the procession.
Oh, okay. First impressions? I agree. Jesus was not Caucasian and he was not blue-eyed. There's no way he could be. So I get that, but I've not heard, this is interesting to me. I have to read more information and read scripture, because I do believe the Bible is God's word, and I do believe we can base our life off the scriptures. So, and I always believe we can never know it all.
If he was a Caucasian hiding in Egypt, it'd have been like a white rice and a bowl of black beans. They would have found him that thing. So,
I like that.
So if your bloodline go back to one of these, you could be an Israelite.
Wow. Okay.
You think she is an Israelite?
Like I said, if her bloodline traced back to one of these, she could be.
I'm an 8th Blackfoot Indian.
On what side? Your mother's side?
My father's mother was raised.
Your father's mother. See, we go by the pedigree of your fathers.
Okay.
So you are what your father is. If I plant an apple seed, I'm not going to get an orange tree. I'm going to get an apple. If I plant whatever the father of man carries the seed. Seed meaning sperm. So if I plant an apple seed, I'm not going to get a banana. What was his father?
German. He was a Nazi.
There you have it.
With the ISUPK seemingly making inroads with the unlikeliest of audience members, their sacred Sabbath day ground to a halt following some complaints from nearby businesses.
I'm a representative of the property management company that owns this property from Reno to the interstate. The railroad track tax pro belongs to a corporation. Shalt thou serve thine. I've been asked just to ask you to leave. Okay,
well, I talked to the board over here. They said we have the right to congregate here. Like this, we're not 12.
Okay, here, I'm going to give you some phone number, okay? So, they've asked that you go ahead and leave. Contact them if you want to be able to come back. They do it. I can't tell you what their rules or regulations are or anything else.
Let them know to wrap it up. And he shall put
property.
So if people
everything.
complained, then essentially.
Yeah, well, no, anybody. I run off. I ask people to leave all the time. It's not just these gentlemen. And normally I have a pamphlet that I give them and gives them instructions on who to contact. And usually what they try to do is get them to go down to the Sonic stage.
But he told me that we was free to speak here as long as we're not over 12 people. I can give you a call and give you his information as well.
Call them, okay. I mean, it's
Came into them and they live.
With the Hebrew Israelites shooed from their soapbox, showing the grey area regarding the morality and freedom of true free speech, I found my time with the ISUPK drawing to an abrupt close. This was my best window into a racial members club to which I didn't have a pass for, and it was ironically shut down by a polite white man. With the window left open a crack, I pulled Captain Ugal for one final chat.
So I spoke to the SPL Centre. One of the main things that they said was basically that if a black woman has had a child with a white man, if they wanted to join the ISUPK, they have to abandon the child. And I wanted to see if that was true. And
Abandon the child. That kid is a white kid.
so would she have to abandon the child if she wants
Not
to?
abandon, that's the child. Not abandon, it's like that child can't come into our temples. So says the Bible. Like we tell brothers all the time, they have a white wife, she can't come in.
They said the ISUPK's attitudes towards transgender people was a big factor. What makes ISUPK on level with fascist groups and that kind of stuff? What are your views on transgender people?
Either way, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's a sin. It's a sin. We tell our people not to be transgender. So it's like, as far as like being against them, that's like any homosexual. We feel a homosexual is wrong. We would tell the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, we would say, hey, you need to fall out of that lifestyle. We don't beat them or what they call bashing. We don't do that type of stuff. We don't harm them at all. We may harm them by words, but out of the Bible. We don't call them names. We don't call them, you know what I'm saying? You don't see us sitting there calling, hey, you're a faggot, you this and that. No, we don't do that. What we do, we go in the Bible and tell them where they're wrong. The Bible says, show Israel their sins. So we show them their sins. Like I said, if Christians say they're against it, they not called a hate group. Like if a pastor speaks against the LBT, whatever, all them alphabets, some really don't pay attention. But if the pastor say he's against it, they won't look at that pastor and say, oh, he's a hate group. That's a hate pastor. He's preaching hate. They won't say that. But us, oh, we a hate group. It is a double standard. Of course it's a double standard. You know, we wouldn't be in America if it wasn't a double standard. You know, and plus, I wouldn't say America. I say all over the planet. What's wrong? What did God say is abomination? It says homosexuality is abomination.
That's why I'm not letting nobody sell you crack. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you a black man like me. And it's worth something.
This is BLACKWATCH with Commanding General YAHANNA, the only man to lead blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
God made man on this earth. The white man he made man. God made man. God wants man to obey him.
Bringing you real news.
We don't need a black man in the White House. We need a black man in every black house.
For many years, there's a lot of black people who didn't realize how deep the racism of white America was.
You ain't gonna do nothing unless you decide where you gonna stand at with the Most High.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Righteous solutions to issues plaguing our nation.
Boy, you better wake up and see the power that is within blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Join us every Monday from 9 to 11 p.m. BLACKWATCH. Let the show begin.
What's going on, Israel? ISUPK.com is the website. I'm Commander General YAHANNA, and I got the helm, and we getting it in like we do all the time, bringing everything up the madness of the empire and the rest of the world. Heavy hitters is in the building tonight. General Monica Allah getting it in. General Hazayan in the building. General Muhammad is off for the night. He'll see us in Nashville, getting it on. Big shout out. Officer Marat in the building with your diet, with Ibar, Osalami. Got some big guns up in here. Captain Shapar in the pot. You understand? Trying to look like a male model up in here. Officer Danya. You understand? All right. And Sister Naima in the building with us, giving us a hold on. All right. So, yeah, so a lot going on. First of all, you know, I want to say a big congratulations, man, to all the schools who held down so righteously the memorial of blowing the trumpets, man. I mean, if you don't know, y'all jump on Facebook, jump on my timeline or anybody's timeline in the UPK, man, and take a look at the glorious work of the Most High being done by all the brothers and sisters in the UPK, because they look absolutely amazing. Camps is looking great and strong. Brothers and sisters was representing to the highest in all the cities, man, and did an amazing job. Your king, Yahweh Shai, would be proud to see you all doing what you're doing in such a dry time. You understand, for this nation. Times is really hard on brothers and sisters. The struggle is real, but yet brothers and sisters find it within them. They have found a valuable thing in the truth. They found a valuable thing in waking up to this knowledge, into the knowledge being passed down, and they have built these schools, man, and you're going to see the Lord do something amazing with them. I'm telling you. You're about to see the Lord do something amazing with them. So they look absolutely amazing. Everybody got it in, man. Camps that I didn't know was growing just exponentially. They popped up on Facebook. I'm like, whoa, where this army come from? They all up in the building, you know what I mean? Obscure cities, you know what I mean? So it was really beautiful, man. It was really righteous. I heard the stories of all the good things that were taking place. It was definitely something to talk about, you know what I mean? So you can check that out, man, for that High Holy Day on Facebook. That's where I saw it at. I'm sure it's on the gram and everywhere else. Also, too, man, I want to give a big shout out to all the brothers and sisters down in Puerto Rico and in the Caribbean, brothers and sisters in Cuba, the brothers and sisters in St. Thomas, and all the islands where we got brothers and sisters at and the Lord's chosen are at. You understand? We're praying for you all because we know that hurricane is coming through, getting ready to do damage down there, getting ready to punish Esau some more and bring some hurricanes and some trouble to them islands. You understand? And particularly big shout out to Puerto Rico in that, you know, they lost all their power again. And they've been scrambling. The brothers been scrambling. You understand? We've been scrambling up here, man. Big shout out to the Treasury Department. We've been trying to work with them and get them up and running and get them together. Big shout out to Ashaparian, Captain Ashaparian. Big shout out to Captain Ashaparian, man, for working so hard, particularly with Puerto Rico, man. And you know what, man? Let me just say this, man. Big shout out to every brother and sister that decided to stand in this work. It ain't easy. There's a lot of temptations out there. It's a lot of temptations out there trying to drag you off the course. And many of you just refuse to fall, refuse to turn on the Lord. You put your faith in the Most High, and you will not be disappointed. When you walked away from them churches and saw that they was evil as hell and saw that it was a bunch of hypocrisy, especially during the pandemic, you did a wise thing. Now, of course, Satan gonna try you, but stay the course, man, and the Lord is going to definitely shine on you and bless you. Also, too, Florida, y'all got to get ready, man, because y'all about to get hit with a hurricane as well. They said that hurricane may slide right into Tampa. You understand? Tampa, St. Pete, that whole area right there is about to get hit with a hurricane. So, brothers and sisters, let's come together on that. You understand? And let's look at that. Now, I know I've been saying this other thing every week, but I'm telling you, we coming out with a new website. Big shout out to General Shalmar and his team. I'm telling you, it's an absolute beast. what he's getting ready to come out with is short to come. He's working on this. He's really on the end part of it. Lord allow, he'll give us a launch date. We'll get that out, and we'll know. And it's super interactive, man. Super. Everybody in the UPK is gonna have access to this website. You're gonna be able to put up. It's crazy. It's an app. It's crazy. It's gonna really bring us into the the forefront of what it is that we need in the UPK, because so many people are contacting us from all over the place. You understand, for so much of what we are doing here in this work. You know what I mean? Am I forgetting anything else before we jump on in? I think I pretty much covered the little basic stuff that's happening. Unless y'all got something else going on, y'all let me know. If not, let's get to these stories, man, because some of these stories, boy, I cannot wait to talk about tonight. Oh, if I could, real quick, Nashville this weekend. Okay. Big shout out to the whole Nashville posse. We can't wait to get out there with you, see what's happening, get into it, man. Do it up with y'all out there. So we're working on that right now. So that's it for now. Let's get it in, y'all. Where we going first?
School bus driver fired and arrested after pushing 2 black students and telling them to get to the back of the bus.
Dang. 2022. Your baby's still getting treated like a Negro. You got footage of this? Read the story while Marat pulls it up, please.
A white bus driver in Morgan County, Georgia, has lost his job after a video showed him pushing a pair of young black siblings and telling them to get to the back of the bus.
Dang. So it was a pair of siblings and let me tell you something. Esau is an evil bastard, because that is what he really wants to do to all of us. Like, that's what happened out there in Sesame Street. Remember that Sesame Street? Was so vulnerable. And they such a coward and an evil bastard and know that what they doing is so wrong. They go and attack the babies. You know what I'm saying? They go and attack the babies, man. You know what I mean? And that be traumatizing to kids. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you're ready, Marat, keep going, you die, if you don't mind. Y'all jump in anytime.
If I could, sir, if you remember certain scriptures, that's what Amalek did to us when we was leaving out, we was in the wilderness. Yeah. He attacked the back of our caravan where the kids were, where the children were, where the old were, where the sick were, man. That's the coward move, man. And that's who he is, man. And it also lets you know that nothing has changed. Even though you push and trying to say that we got all these different things in society as far as money and different things, on a ground level, it's still the same. When we live our everyday lives in the ghetto, the body of the reservations, it's still the same. It has not changed. You understand? And then when you get that money and think you highfalutin, the Lord show you again, it's still not going to change. Because no matter how much you got in this land, you're going to still find out that this is what they think of you.
Right. Go ahead.
No, that's it, sir. Come on.
Salaki, Joe.
Yes,
with all the propaganda and all the talk of unity and all the talk of everybody being respected, everybody's supposed to be being respected now and all that. Homosexuals and lesbians today, I mean, you do anything, they ready to cut you off, lock you up, throw away the key. You understand? The Me Too movement. If you do anything towards a woman, they ready to lock you up, come down on you, charge you, all that.
They put together a whole Asian coalition.
Yeah. Come on with it.
Because of the so-called violence against Asians. They're not going to tolerate. The only thing they tolerate is the attacks on us.
Yes. Yes, you so right. Like, that is okay. That don't never stop. Everything else is stopped. And let me tell you, man, when I walk into these businesses out here, right, it always looks to me, now this is just my little observation, the vibe in these businesses out here is like, they got to be polite to run their business. They got to be respectful to run their businesses and to operate out here. But they seething inside to take their anger out on somebody. And they always looking for one of us to take their anger out on. They always right there at the edge, ready to start something with one of us. I saw a videotape, somebody put a videotape on TikTok where a cat just was trying to look around in the line. This white girl just came and cut in on the line. And then I wish I could find the video, because he said something about it and she went berserk. I need him to get away from me. I need some space. And was going crazy in this damn store. I think it might have been a Walmart too. Was going crazy in this store because she cut into the line on this black man. If y'all know the video, send it up to Marab so we can check it out. And it was her rage. It's like whatever they raging against. They want a black person to abuse in that rage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They want to be able to abuse us in that rage, which is why it's winding up. It's winding up and winding up. And Donald Trump done unleashed it inside them. And it's winding up, you understand, to some real judgment of the Most High.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I could imagine how we must have felt coming out of Egypt after some of us, because some of us were still brainwashed and caught up in the Egypt. Those of you that still caught up in the empire, you're going to die on this side. You ain't going out in the wilderness with us this time. You're going to die right here. But back then, we all went out into the wilderness together. But for the ones of us that loved the Most High, I could imagine how elated we was that the Lord finally brought judgment down on this man who had been abusing and treating us like dirt for so long. And now judgment finally came on him. Now, finally, somebody was allowed to carry out every bit of their rage on them the way they carry it out on us. And here's the beautiful part about it. Moses required that we did not fall on them. And we did not. We obeyed Moses. The ones of us that love the Most High, we obeyed Moses. And we should obey the Most High now in the ISUPK right now.
Damn right, sir.
Because we obeyed Moses and we did nothing. And the judgment fell on them. Something horrible, and nobody could say it wasn't the Lord. Even Pharaoh couldn't say it wasn't the Most High. Nobody could say it wasn't the Lord. The Lord got all the credit for it. And guess what? We just sat back and said, well, now we know who's right and who was wrong. And that's going to happen here too. The Lord will bring judgment on this place and all these empires. And then we're going to know. Then ain't nobody going to be able to say, well, y'all did this to us and you did that. No. It's going to be the Lord brought judgment down. And thanks be to the Most High that he will, man. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Doc. Give me more. Was you going to say something?
No, that's it. I don't know.
Go ahead, Doc. You got the video? Let's check it out. You got sound?
Well, that video prompted school officials to ask the Morgan County Sheriff's Office to open an investigation. Niquanya Carter says her 6 and 10-year-old children were traumatized after this encounter with their bus driver last Friday. Video of the incident, now under investigation by the Morgan County Sheriff's Office, appears to show the driver pushing the 6-year-old into a seat.
My son is terrified. He was scared. He called for his sister. As you could hear, he was crying. He was horrified.
Carter says it all started after the 6-year-old didn't comply with the driver's order to take a seat in the back of the bus.
I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying.
Back of the bus.
Like, they don't never got to comply.
Are back there.
You don't comply, all his rage wants to come out on you. Like kids running, you see them school buses. Them kids in them school buses bouncing off the goddamn wall. Every damn school bus. But these black kids do it. Oh boy, they just won't comply. Go ahead, Doc.
He was frustrated. One thing that I heard, they told him, stop it, don't touch them. He said, well, you people.
Damn!
He was just flustered.
Come.
We don't comply.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And the primaries normally sit right behind the bus driver.
When her 10-year-old daughter tried to intervene, video appears to show the driver shove her too.
I was stunned, the emotional damage that it did. My kids don't want to go back to school.
Carter told Fox 5 this isn't the first time her family has complained to school officials about this driver and believes he targeted them for a reason.
I've never put my hands on a kid. I used to drive school buses too.
In response to a request for comment, a spokesperson for the school system released a statement saying, quote, "We took immediate immediate action, including notifying the Morgan County Sheriff's Office, who we are working with during the investigation. We cannot share further details or comment due to this being a personal issue. However, the driver was terminated. The Carters say they've since taken their children out of the
This is a
school.
personal issue. Like this is something personal happened between him and the kid. He on your school bus. You understand? Go ahead, John.
He should be held accountable, like they always talk about. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's a hate crime. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Assault and a hate crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You so right, General. Like I'm sorry.
I was gonna talk about another incident. It's like
you got another one. Come on with it.
Just on this line, there's a story I read this week about a judge in 2015. You know this judge poured the gun on a black defendant?
No way.
Poured the gun on a judge.
Come on, man.
And they just now removed him because he's been bragging about it all this time. And it took him, what, 2022 now? He finally getting caught up only because he bragged to his colleagues about it, bragged to his supervisor, to then try to change it once it started getting around, saying, well, I fear for my life. Because they said the defendant, this Jake, passed some line where you ain't supposed to pass in the courtroom.
And so he pulled
the yak, pointed it right.
Like that's what they want.
Yeah.
You understand? They don't want the court officers to come in there and subdue the cat.
Yeah.
They want to murder him. They want to, regardless of the crime, regardless of the conviction, they want to murder him for it.
Yeah.
You understand? That Mar-a-Lago raid was so much insight. When they ran down there and broke into Donald Trump's when they went up into Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago, whatever that thing is, resort or whatever, like they showed how they really are. They were so angry that the FBI came in there and raided them. They trashed the FBI, they trashed the prosecutors, they trashed the judges, they trashed the Democratic Party, they trashed everybody as though they were all criminals and thieves. And that's them whenever their own law is like if they apply their law to them, it's a problem. But if as long as they can apply it to you, and when they apply it to you, they don't even want to apply it according to their law. It ain't like they want to say, it ain't like they want to exact their law on you. They want to exact full out rage on you outside of their own law. Like, boy, we in an imbalance thing here. But boy, oh boy, you don't know who you messing with.
Yeah.
You messing with the children of God, man.
That's right.
You messing with the Lord's chosen people, man. 5,000 years ago, the Lord put his name on these people. Right. Understand? And they said that this bloodline would be the seed, would be a seed that would spread as big as the sands of the sea. Okay. So you messing with something that is precious unto the Most High. And you're going to pay for that. You're going to pay for that kind of abuse, man. Because it's been ongoing. We're in 2022. 2022, what the hell is the devil mad at now? What else are you mad at? You got every goddamn thing. You're stealing the goddamn moon. The moon is under the moon trying to move out of order. Did y'all hear they sent a spaceship up there to hit an asteroid? Yeah. They sent something up there to crash into it. They're going to steal the asteroid. And you can listen, you ain't going to fool me. I know what an Edomite is. I don't care what he say, science. And we want to see if it's dense or hollow. Bull crap. All you care about is it gold up on that damn rock? Whatever coming through space, you just want to know is there some gold on it, so you can rob that too. Come on, you guys.
If I could, sir, would you bring out it so heavy? There's a movie on Netflix called Don't Look Up.
Okay.
And they sent this missile to destroy this asteroid, but they aborted the mission. They said, "Why'd you do that? Now the Earth's gonna be destroyed." They said, "Well, if we destroy part of it, we can harvest the minerals." You know what I mean? So China, won't be a nuclear power or no Russia. I was like,
dang. See that? Like they about robbing and stealing, and that's all that's going on, and that's why they don't apply those laws to themselves.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. All right.
Okay. So the scriptures say they was gonna be a vagabond.
That's right.
And that's what they're showing you. And also too, with all that's going on, just to tell you one thing, the Bible says that this is not our rest. The more you try to make it your rest, and be comfortable here and be part of this so-called equality, the more and more your oppressors show you that he does not want you down with him. Now, they said in the article they might fire the either right XYZ, right? But that's still not dealing with the trauma that them two babies had to deal with. They 5 and 10. That trauma done messed with their head. It's too late now. They already messed up in the head over the issue now, man. You understand? He may get fired, yeah, he may get done, but who knows? I don't know. But what about them babies that had to deal with what happened? Have a big grown man who has always had a problem with them. Now they got so mad he put hands on them kids, man.
Right.
What about what's going on with them, man? This is not our arrest. You understand? And also the scriptures say this one more thing too. It said the Lord was upset with us. Yeah, he put us in their hands, but they went too far.
Yep.
How Commander Yohanna was bringing out, you went too far, man. And the Lord is a chess player. He playing you. He got some of your own people telling you that we the children of Israel. Y'all think he crazy. He like us, he don't know what he's talking about. But he do know what he's talking about because the Lord making him say those things. Because when judgment comes, you will pay for what you did. You can't run from it. You holler about justice all the time. Y'all hunted Osama down for all them years. And when you got him, you had parades on Times Square all over the land called America, happy about getting him. Because of what he did to your land, right? That you stole. Well, guess what? Your time coming from the Lord. You understand me? And the Lord gonna send his son back here. And he gonna rejoice when he come back here and bring vengeance for what you did to his chosen people.
You gonna try to steal his shit. I was seeing on a telescope, man. Thinking some aliens coming, man. Let's see if we can rob them niggas, man. Like that's how this man thinks, man. And if you don't believe it to be true, all you got to do is, like I said, you go in there and look at them schools on Facebook and see the spirit on them brothers and sisters in the ISUPK. Like waking up from this nightmare of being in Egypt a second time has breathed the breath of life in brothers and sisters. Yeah. And now that breath of life is in them, they so alive again. So like this world is less and less effective on us as we grow and grow and grow. After a while, brother, we're going to be like a whole nother people compared to the people that's out here in this world. And they're going to be pouring their way up in here, hoping they can get up in here with it, man. You got more you die on that story? That's it on that. Now listen, they didn't want to follow this. Y'all got to let me just read this for you, all right? Since I couldn't get it to Mariah, I got to get that push bullet down to the side, down to like I need to get it. I'm not as good with it. Big shout out to General Kubala Moth. I'm gonna get it down though because it's tight. Let me read this for y'all, all right? This is the craziest thing that went down in Cincinnati. A black police detective was recently suspended for using an N-word while arresting a white teenager who threw racial slurs at him. Now, he a black cop. He arresting the white boy. The white boy throwing all kind of racial slurs at him. He get mad and call him a nigger, and what happens? He gets suspended. Okay? Like, they don't mind enforcing it. Like, they gonna let this guy go and say it's personal, but they don't mind enforcing that law on a black man that gets out of pocket. Cincinnati police detective Johanny Reese was under internal investigation for uttering the N-word during an incident on Friday, September 2nd. Reese and another officer were working off duty at an energy nightclub. Okay. The unruly teenager was reportedly threatening both black police officers and security staff and called them fake niggers. And you know a black man don't like that. You know you can't be calling a black man no fake nigger. Okay? He done stepped out of pocket. He had a few drinks. He all up in their face, disrespecting. Okay? Sergeant Dan Hills, the president of the Cincinnati Fraternal Order of Police, okay, used the same word when he told the drunk teenager that he wouldn't be a nigger. Hills explained per the news station, both officers show remarkable restraint in the face of repeated racial slurs and gave the drunk teenager numerous chances to leave without being arrested. The white patriot tried assaulting the cops who deployed their tasers, arrested him for disorderly conduct, the news station learned. Shortly after the incident, Reese turned in his badge and gun and was suspended for saying the N-word according to the FOP. You ain't gonna get this right. A black man, you're gonna get him on. Meanwhile, cops doing it all day, doing it over the microphone, cracking racial jokes over the microphone, degrading black female cops. They can't even work in some of these offices. Some of these police stations, they got a lot of civilian staff in it, mostly black women from the same hood, and them and dispatchers and 911 dispatchers and all that. And meanwhile, they saying all kinds of stuff to them, and ain't nothing happening to none of them cops. But meanwhile, these brothers trying to arrest this clown and use and said, he didn't even say he was. He said, I wouldn't be one. You know what I'm saying? And they still suspended him, man. Which show you the difference, man. They'll attack our kids on the bus and get away with it. But their kids, forget about it. Their kids get the benefit of doubt. And Haas, you've been saying many stories you talked about arresting them Edomites down there in University of Penn, them old rich Edomites. And they getting off after assaulting cops and fighting cops and coming up against them. It's ridiculous, man.
I remember one time, I locked up these two kids. It was an ag assault. They stabbed some people up in a party, right? Yeah. And me and my partner ran up on them. We got them and everything. And the next week we went to SWAT training, right? We had training, right? Mm-hmm. And me and training, we get up there, and it was this other team, this other plainclothes team that was the oppressors, and they knew that me and my partner at the time was a brother. So we used to get in on it. We had very high arrest records. Like, out of that whole area, man, these damn near had the highest arrest records in the whole city for a while. That's how active we were, right? So, we was tearing shot the frame. So, what happened was we went to training, right? And this one Edomite cat came up to my partner. I heard him. He said, "Oh, so let me ask you a question. How'd it feel to lock up a white man?"
Damn.
And my partner looked at him and smiled and said, "Righteous." And I looked at him and I said, mother, the word MF, right? And he looked at me. I said, yeah. I said, it should be you. And he looked at me, started laughing. I said, I ain't laughing. My partner, calm down, man, calm down. He likes to kind of, I ain't taking no stuff. I kind of, I'll step on your ass in a minute. That shit wrong. And he was trying to get me to calm down a little bit, man. I said, no, man, watch your mouth, man. You know what I mean? So now, after I said that, everybody want to come talk to me, and all the brothers tell me, you got to cool out. But man, I don't want to hear that. You ain't saying to him what he said. Like, how he get a pass for to say what he want to say, and I can't say what I want to say. Watch your mouth, man. I'm a grown man. You think you talking to? And it was just a whole problem. We had to have a meeting and the whole nine. It was just crazy, man. You know what I mean? But that's their mindset, though, sir. Uh-huh. That's who they are. You know what I mean? And they will put it in your face and don't feel no kind of way about it. But when they put it in your face, you're supposed to accept it.
Come.
You understand? You're supposed to just go ahead on and accept that. Nah, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. No, it ain't gonna work. Sorry, sir.
Mariah, you was gonna say something, Salak?
No.
All right, let's keep going. Go ahead.
If I could, Jim.
Please, go ahead.
It sounds like the black cop was trying to let the white offender go. Like, he didn't want no problems. Like, he trying to say, just go ahead and, I don't want to arrest you.
Yeah, they said they gave him numerous chances. Yes.
You kept coming at him and calling him nigga.
Yeah.
All kinds of things.
Fake niggas.
Yeah, right. And then when he do it, he probably catches so much flack that he said, listen, I'm going to turn in my badge and it ain't, and left the force behind it because of him arresting, which shows the disparity between the black cops and white. They don't look at you as you should be able to, arrest one of them. So that's pretty much all I have to say. They don't look at you as equal to a white cop black cops.
Okay, they very dangerous. And I'm gonna say, and everybody that has been in that field or that's been in the Esau military, they know that they're very dangerous and they're very jealous-hearted people. When you exceed them and you excel over them, right? They don't like that. You are not their partner no more. Like, you are not their equal. You have now become their competitor. You have now become their enemy, man. When you exceed them. One time we had an award ceremony, and me and my partner got various awards. We got a lot of awards that night, and I never forget the captain for City of Philadelphia Narcotics Department. He pulled my chief to the side and said, "Yo, we ought to do an interagency task force. Can we get them two right there?" Because that's how active we were. They saw it. And he was like, "No, you're not getting them two." Like, no, because they knew we kept everything safe where we was at. But after, and I brought my family down, you know what I mean? Everybody came down. And my mother-in-law pulled me to the side and said, "Son, let me talk to you." I said, "What's going on?" She said, "I need to have a talk with you." I said, "Why? What's wrong?" She said, "Boy, you better be safe out here. Boy, you better stop what you're doing out here." I said, "What you mean?" She said, "Do you know I sat back there and I watched you in the award ceremony, and all your Edomites counterparts, none of them clapped for you." She said, "When you went up there and got them awards, the one that was sitting down there, the look on their face, they wanted to lynch you right then and there." And I said, "Mama, I already know." Like, I already knew that. But she sat in the audience and she saw it. She saw the hate. You understand me? Because I excelled more than them, me and my partner. I knew it was already there. Now, he finding out now that it's there now on him. He thought he was equal because he had some rank. He had some little bit of power, even though he had a side job. Now he's seeing and feeling what a normal Jake would feel. And it's there. You can't get past it. You can't get rid of it. It is there. And you can't get past it, man. It is what it is. This is not our rest. You keep trying to make it be something for us. It's not our rest, man. It's not. And once you get it in your mind and realize it, then you'll be on a better playing field. You understand? You won't get so upset when they try to do things. You know it ain't your rest, man. That's it, sir. So like,
damn right, Howard. Damn right. And what Howard is saying is so right in this, that our brotherhood and sisterhood is how we insulate ourselves from this evil world as we start to move our spirit away from this place. You understand? And again, I got to say it one more time. If you go on that Facebook and you see the brotherhood and sisterhood and how they came together, Black people outside of being under the brainwashing of these churches have never come together like they're coming together now. We've come together on a level that has not been this unprecedented in this kingdom for those of us that stood in the truth. We are truly excelling in a great and amazing way. And all credit and grace goes on to our holy King, Yahawashi. Right. And you damn right. And let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. It's how we fight this force. By us coming together, our brotherhood, our sisterhood, you know, working together, doing what we're doing. It ain't easy. It's some mistakes that's made, you know, because of human error at times. But we working through those errors for you. We're getting you through. We're bringing you through the fire. We're bringing the body together. And it is beautiful in the hands of the Lord. And so what you're saying is right, Haas. Like, this is not our rest. You know what I mean? This is the place where we to work hard to bring ourselves together. And in doing so, we will change this whole place that's around us. Once again, they brainwashed us so well, real quick. Brainwashed us so well into thinking that we cannot change this place, that we cannot change the lives that we live in. Man, this has all been constructed for us. And now we deconstructed it. And as we deconstructed it, they're trying to bring new things in, new sexual orientation, new adverbs, or what they call them, verbs, or pronouns, the new pronouns that they call in us. All this stuff means nothing. Means nothing. The Most High's work is going on, and it's looking amazing. You understand? All right. Where are we going next? You got
Calm. Text messages show BrettFavre sought welfare money for a football facility.
Oh, man. Let me tell you something. If I could, I'm going to let you read the story. But we should thank the Lord. We should thank the Most High for this coming out.
Yeah.
This is what's really happening. And meanwhile, these idiots, these white commentators get on these different shows and say, well, at some point, you got to pull yourself up by the bootstrap. I mean, we've thrown millions at the problem. We've thrown millions at the problem of inner city poverty. We've thrown millions. They act like they've done everything to help poor blacks and Latinos, and no matter what they do, it never gets taken care of. That's right. No matter how hard they work at it, it just seems like they're pouring money in a hole. Meanwhile, here we are. Go ahead, Shapar, then I'm going to let you die and read the story. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, for years upon years, they've been blaming black families. You know how the white people get together. The welfare, they've been talking about getting rid of the welfare, you know.
Right.
They sit back and collect the welfare and this and that.
Mad as hell.
You know,
welfare fraud.
What's the guy's name? The president.
Trump.
All that hatred.
Yes.
Too much money.
Yes.
1% of the budget is going to black people ain't doing nothing.
Yes.
Meanwhile, they taking that money and using it for rich white folks, man. And you ain't seeing none of that money.
I mean, we should truly thank the Most High. And we should be like stuff like this come out. Black people don't understand. Latino people don't understand. Native Indian people don't understand. Stuff like this come up. You supposed to face the East and say, "Thank you, Lord." You know why? Because the Lord is. And I'm gonna let you die and read the stories a lot. But you should thank the Lord because the Lord is showing you what you don't understand. You hearing Christianity and love everybody out of one side, and on the other side, you hearing the truth. And you in the middle not knowing what. And the Lord bust this story out and show you. Now, you think this the first time this was done? How much money was it? You think this the first time somebody did this? Man, please. They probably did it 1,000 times. You died. Please read the story. I want to let the story come out. For anger over what the hell is being said. Go ahead.
After Mississippi spent millions of dollars in welfare money on BrettFavre's pet project, a university volleyball arena, the retired NFL quarterback tried 2 years later to get additional cash from the state's welfare agency for another sports facility. New court documents show.
He was going new court documents, meaning he was going for round two. The first one was so sweet. Built up his daughter's school, which show you, first of all, he's wealthy. His daughter probably goes to a top school. And meanwhile, inner city schools are struggling, trying to keep their kids, trying to lower the class size. And listen, and I always used to say this. I used to ride through the suburbs, and I would say to myself, how is it that the suburbs have such amazing schools when they got less population? Yeah. They got less population. Meanwhile, so much, they got everything for them schools. Yeah. Super fields, track and field, stadiums, uniforms, everything. But meanwhile, this is a small group of people. I said, how can they do that? And yet in the city, which is collecting billions in taxes, they can't do the same in the city school. Now we know why. Now we know why. Go ahead, you guys. It's a lot.
The governor at the time, Phil Bryant, texted Favre, who wanted to build an indoor practice facility for the University of Southern Mississippi's football team. Bryant told him federal money for children and low-income adults is tightly controlled, and improper use could result in violation of federal law.
Could. I bet you nothing comes up.
They discussing how it's illegal.
Yeah. And that's what they're trying to get around it. They're trying to say, how can we get around this? And this is what I want to know. This is what I'm curious, sir. This cat, BrettFavre, was very good at football, right? Played all these years. All them brothers that played with him, what do you think about him now? All them brothers that played with BrettFavre, who broke all these records with BrettFavre, what do you think about him now? Is he still that same cat you thought was the best in the earth now? Is he still that same person, man? What do you think about him now, knowing that he's trying to take money from people that's like you? A lot of them players come from impoverished neighborhoods, come from poverty, but got out of it because of sports. But survived off that income in their household. Now, what do you think about them now? And what do you think about you? I would love to be able to talk to them and hear what they have to say about it, man. Because that's where they come from. They come from the ghetto. They come from the hood. They come from poverty. Eat off of welfare. Surviving off of welfare. Now, tell me what you think about it. The same man you sit up there and put on a pedestal about he the greatest, this, the greatest, that. Look what he's doing now. Look what's going on now, man. It's like this.
And our people don't understand. They do this knowing that we are stealing this money from poor people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I want to do it anyway. He came at the governor's neck. I don't know if it was in this story, but they had quotes on the news I saw. He said, look, we got to do this. I need this money. You got to get it from me. And the governor told him, well, I'll see what I can do. He said, all right, but not doing it is not an answer. This has to happen.
He was checking the governor like that.
Yeah, the governor said, well, I'm going to do everything I can, but I'm too old to do federal prison.
Damn! Damn!
You ain't got footage of that, do you? Like that's insanity right there. That is insanity. He knew he was doing a crime.
Mm-hmm.
He knew it was a damn crime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He knew it was a complete crime, and he trying to say, look, you know, I ain't trying to go to jail over this. And meanwhile, he checking that this cat is supposed to be the governor. Yeah. With all that power to run the whole entire state, this cat checking the hell out of him like, get that nigga money. Get that money quickly. I need that money ASAP. We'll show you, man. And listen, and the only reason he's talking to him like that is because obviously it has to be looked into as to whether or not that governor has been getting money from him. Right. You understand? Like, is that governor getting kickback money? And so now the governor got to shut his mouth when this greedy, lustful piece of garbage comes back for even more welfare money. Like, this is who you dealing with, man. This is the empire you dealing with. And blacks and Latinos, man, you could change all of this.
Yeah.
That's why Christ died, man, for you to change this thing. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Doc.
If I could, sir, in the very article, it talked, that's something else that said on why he wanted funds for, the new facility. It started when Favre and others at Mississippi started losing players to Deion Sanders.
Come on, man. Come on, man. You telling me that they was losing money to Deion Sanders, and so they stole that money?
Come for the football facility. They saying, you know what I mean? When they was when BrettFavre was unsuccessful in recruiting, you know what I mean? The son of another NFL player to Deion Sanders to the University of Hattiesburg. It says football. But yeah, if I could, sir, because they want the new facility. And this is in early 2019. They started to lose players when Deion started to coach at down there in Florida. Since Deion has started to take other players from Ole Miss and some of these other prestigious white schools.
He is.
They got to build their facilities back up. Tight brothers and say, hey, come play here.
Because oh my goodness, listen, come on, man. Now give it up for your dad, man. That was a good pull right there. That right there was a hell of a pull. Because, let's get it right. If a black man starts building up the sports and the players start coming to him, they go into a panic because then he's actually competing with him, which means that they must keep every black coach poor. They must keep every black school torn down because otherwise it'll start attracting black players and it'll start competing against white schools. And if it competes against white schools, they lose money, which shows you, man, the game is rigged from the door.
Yes, sir.
Like from the door. In other words, what you just described, for those of you that's listening at home, what you just described was the rebirth of the Negro Leagues. Like that's like the rebirth of the Negro Leagues. Because in other words, if black coaches start pulling these black players and start enriching these black schools, then guess what? Now you in competition with the white schools like we was prior to all this, will show you that integration BS was completely a mess. Because we should have still been competing against them and building our colleges up. We, the UPK, we've been saying this about them HBCUs anyway. So now that they getting these sports figures, they're gonna start getting all the money now. And once they start getting money, now guess what? They're gonna hurt them white schools. And once again, you can't be in competition with this beast. He don't believe in fair competition. Like that's what he tells you he believes in. But he doesn't believe, he can't play fair at all. He can't play according to the rules. He can't compete according to the rules, anything. So he goes in the back door, steals millions of dollars from welfare people through the governor's power to build those schools up so he can crush Deion Sanders. And let me tell you something, if they really went into it, I would not be surprised if there are tons and tons of schools that are doing the exact same thing in a scramble, which show you they was under no pressure before this. Before Deion Sanders started doing what he was doing, they wasn't under no pressure. Why? Because every black school was torn down. And meanwhile, black people sat around and said, man, why can't we get these black schools together? We got to work harder, man. Look at the white schools, man. See, they committed to doing it. Meanwhile, the whole time, they've been in the back door of the governor's pocket, robbing the hell out of black people. Amazing story. I love them type of stories. I love when them stories reveal what's going on in the back. And I love it because we're under the brainwashing to think that this mess that we're in is totally our fault. We under that, you know what I'm saying? We under the mindset that we caused all this. That we're the ones that is the reason that HBCUs is poor. When meanwhile, when the Lord be cracking that door open and let you see in that back room, you start seeing this beast, man, he doing all kind of dirty tricks against the Lord's people, which is so biblical. It's biblical according to every nation that we have ever been under, man. Every nation we've been under did this kind of dirty tricks, and you understand, and dealt with us in that way. And that's why, once again, this scripture should be posted on the wall where it says, let us deal wisely with them. And they made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. That's how they do it. Them HBCUs probably been struggling for the last 50 years, trying to survive, trying to raise funds, trying to get good athletes in their schools. Meanwhile, totally unsuccessful. Why? Because you got white men in the back door working with the governor to wipe out your HBCU and to make you now fail. And then your son who done studied football since he was 3 years old, he don't want to put his career on the line going to some broken down HBCU. He know he could be a football star, a millionaire. Why he gonna take that chance? He gonna go to the white school because they got the money, they got the coaches, they got the skills. He ain't going to no black school. Why would he if he got good sense? And now we know why. Now we understand why. It ain't the sports figures issue. They wouldn't let a Deion Sanders do what he do. Otherwise, it'd be 100 Deion Sanders, and all the black students would go coach under him. So it ain't the sports figures in this case. It ain't their fault. It ain't the HBCU's fault in this case, right or wrong. It ain't the coach's fault in this case, right or wrong. It's the dirty, slimy snake that's sitting in the back pocket of the goddamn government. That's the reason that you've been failed. And once again, I love this proof of life, General Hart, because this type of proof of life says what I'm always fighting. I'm talking to people and teaching people and all that. It's always a fight with our people. Y'all know this better than me. On the street, when we speaking on the street and we battling in these camps, our biggest opponent is our own people who say we don't know what we're talking about. It's our own fault. Go get a job. Stop blaming the white man. Stop blaming the white man while he's stealing all the welfare money in the back room. We can't blame him. We can't say nothing while he robbed the hell out of the till and destroyed black schools. And you can't tell dumb, stupid Christians that it ain't black people's fault.
That's right.
It's a lie.
And the main one. It's keeping us down. Like brothers on these streets is spiritual too.
Yes.
They know what they plot over. They lying. This and that happened. No, brother, you can't blame nobody else. You can't blame nobody else. Like they make a man think he crazy.
Yes.
But knowing in his spirit that some backdoor deal was made against him.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Go ahead, boy. You
they don't want to get America so deep in their spirit. It's like what you saying is the conflict, and they don't want to suffer. They hate what you're saying because that means they got to stop.
They don't want their problems
from America.
Right.
I got to come up against you.
Right.
You know, you the evil one.
Yes. You know what I mean? Like they coming up against us means that they don't have to face the fact that this slime ball is robbing them and their people in the back door and destroying every motivation they ever had. Let's examine this for a second. Sports is one of the biggest motivations of poor black people trying to get out of the hood. It is one of their biggest motivations. If a brother's born tall or he's born skillful or he's strong, that's one of his, motive. I can make it. I possibly can get out of this hellhole and I can actually live a real life. And meanwhile, this piece of dirt is in the back office stealing the money to not just outdo him, the sports figure, the coach, the school, the whole black goddamn world. He's in the back robbing them blind. It is insanity to think that this is our fault. It is insanity to say, don't blame this man. When he was stealing $5 million and going back for more. Go ahead, you guys. So long.
The player that Brett tried to get was Deion's son.
Oh!
Was his son. That's why he was asking for more money.
To get his son. Now that's even more diabolical. That's diabolical on another level. Because if I could, that was going to mean more than just he win. That's going to mean he's going to win and destroy Deion Sanders. Like he was going to win and then say, well, Deion Sanders' son ain't go to the HBCU. He over here with us.
Right.
Like what a slime ball. He was going to use his own son to destroy his movement. I bet you, brother, all them college coaches hate Deion Sanders he should have security. Like them rappers, they be telling them rappers, y'all got to get security. Yeah. Deion Sanders better get him some goddamn security, man. He better call us up, man, and say, let me get 6 or 8 soldiers down here, because I know they're going to try to knock me the hell off. He better get security, because now we know exactly what it is that they've been trying to do in the dark and have been doing for so long. You've been seeing them coaches walking on the field with their fresh new hats on and they mansions, you understand, and living large while they over the top of the niggas telling black people, telling us how to run the plays, and you thinking these coaches must be good. He ain't got to be good. All he got to do is backdoor and wipe out the competition. Then he ain't got to be good. Now he got to be good. He's scrambling getting that money up. Why? Because he ain't good as Deion Sanders. So long as he ain't have a Deion Sanders to compete against him, all bets was. Now he looked like the man. He looked like he got it covered. Give him a couple of years, and a white man won't even be able to get a coaching job. Because so many good black players who would come right back and run them college sports and wipe these fools off the map, robbing us blind. Woo! How evil that thing was.
General, if I could, they just had a draft, right? Not too much Spanish had a draft, and nobody from Deion Sanders' school got drafted. What is another plot, like how you were saying, like to get him we're not gonna draft your players. So if we ain't gonna draft your players, why go to school? Because they ain't gonna be able to get nowhere.
Boom.
You know what I mean? That's another plot and plan they got to try to backdoor the HBCUs.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like we ain't gonna draft your people. So now them kids gonna know we ain't gonna get drafted, so why go there?
Right. That's
the
another
point.
way to block. And listen, okay, somebody made a hell of a comment. Bear with me a second. Let me just get this comment. This is Denisha Jones. Big shout out to Denisha Jones. Denisha said something that was very heavy. Denisha said the NFL is on hush mode. And Denisha, your words are so right in this. The NFL is in hush mode. And here's why. They in hush mode because all the other thievery might come out.
Yes.
That's why they in hush mode.
Yes.
Denisha got it right.
Yes.
Like, they quiet now. Because of course, and they gonna throw this devil, if they haven't already, they gonna throw him under the bus. If they can. He might know where the bodies are. So they may not be able to throw him under the bus. Because in a minute, God knows what's gonna come out that they robbed them. They probably robbing every inner city school, man. You understand? Some of them sports teams the pro teams that are in these cities, they got contracts with these cities that no matter what, the city has to pay them if the seats are not full. If they play a game and half the seats is full, the city got to pay for the other half of seats. If they play a game and the seats are 25% full, the city got to pay the 75% for all the other seats that didn't get filled. And here's the logic behind it. Because they say, well, we're bringing tourism to your city. Millions of dollars of tourism to your city. So for us bringing that tourism, we want our money steady coming out that stadium. Every single time a game is played, it don't matter who comes to the game. It don't matter if nobody comes to the game. That city is paying that sports team for every seat that's not filled.
Sir.
Okay? This is monstrous. Monstrous. And we're talking in the neighborhood of millions of dollars a game, probably closer to $1 billion a game. And here's the thing, poor cities. That's why they love them poor cities. That's why all them sports teams is in poor cities, where poor black people are at. Detroit, Chicago, New York, so forth on. Miami. They in them cities where we at because they can talk to that mayor and get every dime out of them cities, man. This is an evil, evil thing being done to us as a people. And the Lord gonna bring it to an end. And like I said, man, I love when it gets brought out. I love when it gets exposed. So that's it on me. Y'all want to jump in? So
I don't know if you heard this. BrettFavre was asking for prison workers to build the facility.
Damn.
During the school.
So he didn't want to pay. He didn't even want to pay regular price.
Right.
He wanted prison price, 35 cents a day. Monsters, monsters, and that's who's sitting up over these college teams. Remember, and he's a coach, correct?
No. He was BrettFavre was he was I think he played damn near 20 years in the NFL. You know what I mean? That cat was
that's what I mean. He's just in the background.
Yeah, he retired. Yeah, he retired. Yeah,
retired nothing.
Yeah, he ain't
in the
doing
background,
nothing.
pretending to be retired.
Yeah.
Robbing the hell out of the damn
Come.
HBCU. So long.
How you trying to get Deion Sanders' son if he's not a coach?
If I may, sir, he's an alumni. You know, the alumni, trying to get certain players to go to their school.
So he went after his son to draw. What a slime ball! Rob the poor people for the millions.
Yeah.
And then go try to seduce your rival's son to get him to come on in with you into the evil that you're doing, to totally wipe him out. And they probably I could go on all night.
You might have to, because the football team in the NFL, the Washington, used to be the Redskins, now the Commanders, had a similar scandal where they caught some of them emails and they was talking, real bad about black football players. So where one guy now, he can't ever coach again. Jay Gruden can't coach no more. He was like the boy wonder of the NFL. But because he was saying racial slurs about black people, they found out and all that stuff came out now. You know what I mean? After they made him take down that Redskins name, more things came out about that organization, about what they've been saying about black people all this time in these sports.
And meanwhile, Washington, D.C. was full of black people, 90% black in the inner city. for years. It's not as much now, but it was then. And meanwhile, he hating. Once again, they hate our soul.
Yes, sir.
They hate what we made of. They
Yes, sir.
hate everything about. Like people came up with me in the street and said, "That's ridiculous, Yohanna. That Commander General Yohanna. That is ridiculous. That white people hate your hair or your hairstyle. You're a reverse racist. You're this and that." Meanwhile, I just would look at them Christians like, you big dummy. You big dumb knucklehead. You understand? But meanwhile, they hate everything about you.
Yes, sir.
Murder you over your music. Like when a white boy got murdered because he playing rock and roll in the hood. Have you ever heard of it? Ever? Never have you heard of it. Well, plenty of black people died playing hip hop music. But you ain't never heard no white people die for playing rock and roll and black people hating them for it. It's ridiculous. Go ahead, General.
And all the stories, General, where the high school black kids got to cut their hair to even play in their game.
Yes, sir.
They take them in the back and make them cut their hair during the game.
Yes,
They're going to go play.
Yes, sir.
Yes. It's all over. But meanwhile, we so brainwashed, Lucky. We so brainwashed that to us, it's no way the slave master could be that evil. There's no way he can have those ill intentions. And the reason for that is because you Christians, you think we got evil intentions. You look at us like we're the evil one. So if we saying it, we must have some evil intention to be saying it. When meanwhile, you look at this Snow White devil like he is something special and he is beyond reproach with his evil. You are a fool to think that way. You die, please.
What I was going to say, General, if I made a piggyback on what General YAHANNA was saying, taking a big step further, they made black and Hispanic Olympic athletes do the same thing.
Dang.
If you're a wrestler, you know what I mean? If you're a skater, or you're doing certain things, you know what I mean? To try to disqualify you because of how damn good we are, they make it, well, you can't wear your hair like this. You got, I know we did a story recently, sir, about the sisters that were swimming, where they couldn't wear, you know, they would say you had to cut your hair, or you had to wear a certain type of head wrap to even compete and swim.
Listen, that's everywhere in East Off Society.
I think I remember.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
story
yeah,
too.
that's everywhere in East Off Society because when I met Commander Deion Sanders, I let my hair grow, and I didn't care about not letting my hair grow. I messed around and got some, what they call them things? They wasn't braids, they were twisties in my head. I got twisties in my head, and I went to work one day, and I was a slave at the time, and I had my little crush hat with the twisties on. I'm sorry. They lost their mind. You know what I mean? They lost their mind. You understand? They lost their mind. They pulled me out of the roll call. They measured my hair to see what's going past the earlobe, the whole nine. There's something about us that they don't like when we go back to being who we truly are. You understand? For me to be really a part, I had to have that clean shaven, that clean, square haircut garbage, and the whole square, mustache. I let my mustache go all the way coming down here when I was working. I ain't care. I mean, it was that they was having a fit over it. It's us that they don't like.
And it's a very slave thing, if I could, General. Yes, give it up for General Harvey. Like, it's a very slave thing to try to make the people that work for you dress the way you want them to dress. There's nothing wrong with a uniform, but you trying to make a dress code, a personal dress code, how they wear their hair, how they wear their beard. You understand? You trying to make that into what you want it to be. It's because you don't like it looking not like you. Show you the vanity, man, the selfish vanity that lives inside this beast, to where you can't even look. You can't even look not like him. Or he want to change that up. You know what I'm saying? And drill you on it. Black women caught hell for years about how their hair was. Go ahead, you guys. Slock, we keep cutting it on. Was you? Oh no, I didn't have my hand raised. Oh, okay, Slock. Okay, no sweat. Well, go ahead, Marat, please.
If I could, General Trump, he posted saying that BrettFavre says he's going to vote for Donald Trump and he expected to appear with the president at a Green Bay rally. I just found an article on it.
Listen, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. But that's the proof. Now you know who's voting with Donald Trump. The ones voting with Donald Trump are stealing millions from the poor. They hate you, man. They hate your guts, man. And the governor even said, look, man, I don't want to, I'm too old to go to jail. I'm too old. The governor said, I'm too old to go to jail. You know what I mean? Because they talking about crime.
Cut them or come.
You understand? Let's see if anything happens. Not a goddamn thing, probably. Not a single thing will happen behind this, more than likely. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get up off it. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Marat. Go ahead.
I just want to let you know I have that too. The governor says we have to follow the laws into old federal prison.
That's it. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, this cat calling him, this Edomite calling him, don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that, you know, this is a crime. I got, you know, he could care less about that. You understand? And let me tell you something. That's the difference between Edomites and us when it comes to politicians. Them Edomites treat them politicians like they their servant. You understand? We treat the politician like they're our leaders. They treat the politician like the politician is supposed to help them succeed in life. We treat the politician like we supposed to follow what the hell the politician tells us to do for life. That's backwards, man. That's backwards. We ain't supposed to follow a politician like that's why we was all caught up in Barack Obama. He was running. It was like he was the savior. They was saying they was calling him the savior. Okay? Black leaders were calling him the savior. Meanwhile, he was just another politician lying and stealing like everybody else. Not necessarily stealing, but lying. I don't know if he stole anything, but I ain't gonna be surprised if you find out he did. Because that's what politicians do. It was evil as hell. So that was it. Salakia on my part. Anybody else?
Sir.
Where we going next, fam?
Nialong breaks silence on Imeudoka cheating allegations.
Now, she was married to a Hamite, right?
Come, right.
Yet again, you mean dark skin make us think, oh, we the same. Meanwhile, them Hamites, brother, is so lustful. Them Hamites are lustful. They like any heathen with no control. You understand? Like any heathen with no control. And shame on you black men and black women who would prefer a Hamite over to say your own people. You understand? Like there is so many successful black men that she could have married. There's so many of them that she could have married. She went and married another nation, a Nigerian at that, who sold us into slavery. I mean, like once you learn a little about your history, it is such a shameful thing for you to go out there and marry a heathen that is the seed that, like, man, you want to talk about them being blessed and them voodoo gods they love over there. Here, a Hamite in the 1600s sells your forefathers over here to America. And then 400 and something years later, their great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson gets to marry one of the most successful black women of your people that were slaves. Your people spent 400 years in slavery. He spent 400 years digging up oil in his land, Nigeria. And he get to now fly to America and still get to get your slave daughter. Shameful, man. Shameful. And it is why we should learn these scriptures. And it is why these nations, like the Lord said, will get up above us very high. Because we don't know what the hell to stand up for. Nialong should have been looking for a black man from day one. Instead, you marrying a Hamite or some other heathen, and they get to get the glory for everything that your forefathers lived and died for. All that they poured into, all the slaves that poured all of those skills and ability inside you and made you something special. And then you turn around and give all of that over to some Hamite. You bring his children into the world. Right. You bring his way of life into your house. You understand? And God knows what he's bringing from over there, from the annals of Nigeria to over here. She couldn't find one. Nialong could have had damn near any brother she wanted. Any musician, any ball player, any coach, any businessman, any scientist. Hell, she could have asked for a black astronaut if she wanted. And then he would have flew the shuttle out to her front door.
She had him on.
Damn. Oh, damn. Damn. She ran through the whole squad. So it's shameful. So now, give us some stories. Salaki, you guys.
It says Nialong has broken her silence amid the allegations that her fiance, Boston Celtics head coach Imeudoka, had an affair with a female staff member. On Thursday, bosses of the NBA franchise confirmed that Imeudoka had been suspended from the NBA franchise for the 2022-2023 season for violations of team policies. Is that the decision had been made about the future with the Celtics beyond this season, and to be posted at a later date, the suspension takes place effective immediately, the statement says. Long, 51, told Newsweek in a statement on Friday that she was grateful for the support she had received since the allegations came to light, and she's focusing on her children.
Hamite she done brought in. Them heathens just not, you know what I mean? Them heathens she brought in. Go ahead, Shaquan.
No, I want to just make it let's say I've seen a lot of them Hamites in the sports world a lot lately. They just making an influx through the coattails of black sports and showing up in the MMA and boxing and basketball, like this Hamite right here. They're all over the place in the movies. I mean, just all over, man. Taking the spots of black men and women. A lot of our ignorant, our nation is ignorant.
Out of ignorance, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Thinking that they are part of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And support them and then fight. So I just want to make that.
Shapar, if I could, that falls on the Christian church, man. The Christian church teaches you to accept everybody and love everybody, right? Be inclusive of everybody. Yediah, give me two scriptures, brother. Romans 15:4, and give me the one in Tobit, where it says, Tobit talk about how you only take a wife or a husband of your own people. Don't disrespect the people by doing and marrying somebody else. Because the Christian church teach you that everybody can be in here. You can love everybody, which is why they doing what they're doing. All this fall back on them. You understand me? It all fall back on them and their ignorance, man, and their lies that they told. But the Most High now is opening up the skirt. He was lifting the skirt tail to everybody. You know what I mean? Hollywood, the sports figures, everybody, and showing them that you done made some errors. While you went out here and thought this cat here was better than a regular brother, the Lord showed you he worse than what we were. You understand me? Because you went down and thought about our people being, I can't go marry a regular guy who be a man from the original land. I got you. That original man played your behind. And the Lord made it so. Let me know when you got Romans 15:4, Yediah. Read.
Romans chapter 15, verse 4.
Come on.
For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning.
The word "afore" is a prefix, which means before in time and order. And the things are written before Paul, and the New Testament was the Old Testament. You understand? And you're going to learn from things in the Old Testament. The book called the Apocrypha is part of the Old Testament. You can't get around that. Go to the book of Tobit.
The book of Tobit, chapter 4, and verse 12.
If you are a descendant of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, then you are a Hebrew Israelite, period. You ain't the same as everybody else. Because a person got the same skin color, don't make you that same person. Because you came from a land where they had the same skin color, don't make you that same person, man. That's the ignorance they teach you in that Christian church, man. But it's all lies. But it's why sisters are doing what they're doing, man. You got to learn the truth. You are not supposed to be dealing with them other nations, man. You're not. It's a moniker going around with them Hamites. They know that black women are sipping. They know they dumb as hell. They know that all you got to do is smile on their face and tell them what they want to hear, and they give you all the draws in the earth. They know that, which is what they do. And they do what everybody else do, talk about the brothers. They down the brothers and say, I'm better than them. And they fall for it every time. Well, here's what God said about you falling for that and you dealing with the other nations. Read, Yediah.
Tobit, chapter 4, verse 12. Beware of all whoredom.
Say it again.
Beware of all whoredom.
The Lord is saying, don't be no whore, man. And He's going to tell you how He don't want you to be a whore. Go ahead.
My son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy father.
Man, you going to take your wife or husband that come from your same bloodline. You understand me?
He said chiefly.
Chief meaning mainly. That's your only option. The water, sir. Go ahead.
not a strange woman.
Don't take nobody from these other nations, man. What's the king in the scriptures who did it? And he was married to Jezebel, and she wreaked havoc in Israel. Was it Ahab or Jehu? Ahab? Ahab? Jezebel wreaked hell on Israel because he let that Hamite come up in there and destroy the nation of Israel. Go ahead.
And take not a strange woman to wife.
Go ahead.
Which is not of thy father's tribe.
Meaning they not part of your people, man. They're not part of your father's bloodline. So what you doing dealing with them, man? It was a cunning plot by the oppressor to get rid of the brothers in the household. A cunning plot to destroy us, man. To make the man like he ain't nothing in these black homes, Hispanic Native Indian homes. To try to discredit the seed of a brother. A cunning plot. But that's okay. That's why the Bible said the Lord reserves 5,000 men who didn't bow to neither Baal. And you're going to find them men in the ISUPK who going to uphold what the Lord say do. Whether we live or die, we're going to do it. For the nation of Israel. Keep on reading, you Diane.
For we are the children of the prophets.
We the children of the prophets. They're not the children of the prophets, man.
Right.
I never forget this one thing, sir. And I think we put it out on the show one time where Obama went to Africa, right? And it's a island where they took slaves. They had like a castle, right? And when he went to go visit there, he made this comment that I know it went over everybody's head except for us in the ISUPK. He said that this place right here, where they had slaves, they held slaves in this castle before they put them in the boats and sent them to the land called America. He said this place holds a special significance to my wife Michelle and her people. Why didn't he include himself? Because he's not part of her people, which means he's not part of us. We're separate. We're not the same. Oh, it's telling this right here. And because we're not the same, we are not to marry the other nations. Keep on reading, you die.
Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred.
You see that, man? They went and met. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, damn, that was the color. Go ahead.
That's a cold cut from the Lord. The Lord is saying we marry people from amongst each other, man. Not these other nations, man. You making an error out of ignorance because of that Christian church. You making an error because they telling you things that make you feel good. You making an error and you destroying the life of your people, man. You understand? You talk about brothers all the time when they go get money and they go get Edomite woman or Hamite woman. Well, you sisters do the same exact damn thing. Right. Ain't no difference, man. And all of y'all doing it because of the Christian church. This blood was on their hands, man. Go ahead.
And were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land.
Let me tell you something. They were blessed because they married their own kind, man. You understand me? They got down with their own kind. And that should also let you know that you're also making a mistake by propping up these sports players, these entertainers, as being somebody who knows what they're doing and how to influence your life. They don't have no clue. They lives are destroyed. They just know how to act a little bit or play ball real good. They lives are destroyed, man. You understand me? And once again, it falls on the back of that Christian church. All this falls on them. They push this doctrine of being inclusive with everybody, and you can do it as long as you love Jesus Christ, and Lord love you, you love them, you fine, or whatever the heck that garbage they say. It falls on their hands. So that's it.
Damn right. All right, where we going next, you Dad? We got plenty of time. We can get quite a few in here.
Kamala Khan, sir. Kamala Khan. Inmate's sister shares horrific photos of his deteriorating health in prison and begs for help. Castillo Vaughn is believed to have lost 75 pounds of body weight in less than a month, his lawyer, Lee Merritt, said in a statement on Friday. The sister of an Alabama inmate has shared disturbing photos of her brother, which are the results, she says, of the prison failing to provide him appropriate treatment behind bars.
Like King David, man, said this so right. This is why no brother should be a criminal. Like your brain is greater than that. You understand? Your brain, the Lord gave you a brain that is so much more greater than you taking the easy route of being a criminal. David said he would rather fall into the hands of the Lord than fall into the hands of the heathen. And that, when you get locked up in these prisons, man, anything can happen at any time. When that COVID hit, brothers that was in prison was in hell because they locked them prisons down. And then if you got COVID, you had to have COVID while you was locked up. There wasn't no guarantee you was going to get decent treatment. You know what I'm saying? And so in those situations and positions, sometimes you can't avoid it. Sometimes things just come, into the view, and you have to deal with them. But if you can't, it's so much wiser to not do that. It's so much wiser to do everything you can to not, because you don't know what you're getting caught up into. Once he got you in that cage, God, you don't know what they're doing back there. You read them scriptures out, they was doing all kinds of things to brothers that was in prison. At one point, they was putting them in the dungeon. Jeremiah and them ended up in dungeons. You understand? They put Jeremiah down into a slime pit. You know what a slime pit is? That's like a septic system where all the sewage and all the waste and all the leeches and everything is sitting in there. That's what that is. Well, they lowered him in that. They had a big slime pit, a big dungeon. And they lowered him into this slime and covered slammed the dungeon. And he was in pitch black in that dungeon, in that slime, hanging, not on his feet, hanging in the slime. So whatever was swimming in that slime was trying to attack Jeremiah. And they did that to him because he spoke the truth of the Most High against those black leaders. The Lord had showed him what Israel needed to do to survive. And they did not listen to him. They rejected what he said, locked him up, and put him down in the slime pit. Now, that's an example of an innocent man that went into the slime pit. But if you out here doing crimes and doing things you shouldn't do, you could get away with that years ago. You get away with that for a long time because Esau had certain rules that he had to go by so that he didn't look so bad before the world. But them rules is over with now. Everybody's distracted by the internet. He could care less about your life right now. You understand? Many of these prisons is being turned over to private prisons. You understand? And they forget about it. They cutting back every day. A private prison is about profit. So they're going to do everything it takes for them to get more profit. So you should never, ever, especially in this time, you should never, ever fall into the hands of this beast in that way. You should take what little freedom you have and use that amazing brain the Lord gave you and come together with your brothers and build something a whole lot bigger and better than what you've been dealing with. Because otherwise, you in there with other brothers who's damaged, who's suffering from being in them places, who's separated from their families, you being preyed on by men that have turned themselves into, an alternate lifestyle and want to turn you into that alternate lifestyle. You under extreme stress, you under stress of gangs, under stress of religions. You understand? Now, if you got to go there, you got to go there. You know what I mean? Many of us and most of us have had to go there. And so if you got to go there, you go there. But if you don't have to go there, that's not a place for you, man. Not in this time. You do so much more for the Lord out here. And the Lord can put so much blessing on you for real, not Christian blessing. You understand? But really work with you to build you up and make you great. You understand? Rather than going into that cage and being, having them eat away at you slowly. I could imagine that's the brother right there. Look at that. Like he's dying. That's him on the floor on that second picture. Like he's dying right there. You understand? And he looked like a regular healthy brother in that cell that he's in. And that's a dormitory cell, meaning that's one of them cells that got double bunk beds and there's a whole bunch of beds in it. So that means if any illness breaks out in there, you can catch that illness because there's so many men that's in there from so many walks of life, many with no morals, many that with no home training, many with no parents, poor medical coverage. Don't do your life like this unless you have to. Sometimes you have to, like Jeremiah had to. Jeremiah had to speak against this place for the Lord's sake. You understand? So he had to end up there. But if you don't have to end up there, you understand? Don't end up there. Learn the truth. Become sober-minded. Get that for me. The Lord said become sober-minded. You got to become clear-minded. You understand? You got to become clear-minded on where you at and what you doing and the world you're in. And this predator that's seeking to wipe you the hell out. You understand?
Come. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant.
Be sober, be vigilant, man. You got to be clear-minded. You got to be on top of your game out here. Everything is looking to take you down and wipe you out. And it's such a shame because many times we read in these scriptures how the Lord could use one man to change the course of this whole nation. So you devaluing yourself to a petty criminal is expending so much greatness from the Most High. It's like you taking a brother who got so much potential of greatness and just throwing him in the street. And nobody could do that but you. You got to have the control and discipline to not get into that. Tupac and Biggie became rappers, became wealthy, millionaires, and ended up dead over stupid rivalry. How dumb was that? You understand? Tupac, here's a multi-millionaire wearing Egyptian cotton in a casino with all the money he could ever want and have, all the jewelry he could ever want and have, with all the women he could want and have. And what does he do? He goes and beats the piss out of some gang member that could have warranted a retaliation on his life. Instead of trying to work it out with that brother as though that beef had to be that serious. Now, I don't know the whole story on the beef. Maybe I'm wrong on it, but this much I do know. Here was an extremely talented cat with a history and a family of black revolutionaries. That Shakur family, brother, were Black Panthers. They was the real deal. They was some real violent wings of the Black Panther Party. They was serious about dealing with Esau back in that 70s. And here came a protege. Here was the time for them to receive all the blessings for all that they went through. Here they had one beautiful child who was going to bless them for everything they went through. And as a result, he ended up dead. You understand? And Biggie wasn't too much further. And not only them, look at all the other brothers that's dying over it. Like, it's not where we got to get past our own vanity out. It's so little. You don't value your life that much if you put yourself in that position willingly. You don't value yourself. That trinket you trying to get, that little thing you trying to steal or rob or hurt somebody over is so much worth so much less than you. But since you don't look at yourself as that valuable, that thing you now want to go get to make yourself valuable. You got to steal that watch. You got to steal that chain. You got to rob that ATM because you think that makes you more valuable when it makes you less valuable because you way more valuable than that. You understand? The Lord can raise you up to buy 100 watches, but nobody could help you when you fall in the hands of Esau. The Lord said that in the New Testament, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Both David said it, and then the Lord said it to not fall in. And then I believe Paul said it or John, not to fall into the hands of this man. You understand? Because then you'll fall into that judgment, man. So this is horrible what's happening to this brother. I'm not saying it's his fault. Who knows? He could be in there innocent. I don't know. That's another thing. Like I said, sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes this man just doing so much evil out here that you end up in that cage. But that ain't the case with everybody. Everybody ain't getting caught up in it. So we got to get it right. So lock it. Go ahead. Tell them where you at.
First Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour.
You got to be vigilant, man. He's looking to devour you. You understand? He's looking to devour you. You're supposed to be trying to make peace after you done hit it big. You done become a multi-millionaire out of some of the poorest ghettos in Chicago. You done become a multi-millionaire, but your vanity, your lust, you understand, your pride, all those things take precedence. I mean, as a man, you must always try to maintain your dignity and self-respect. But you also have the ability to attempt to try to bring brotherhood together and instead avert so much evil that could be spilled. If you can, that's what a skillful man would try to do. And if you brothers have not done it, you had better start trying, because Lord knows you on the losing team when it comes to this. Every time we turn on the news every week, as soon as the weekend over, Monday morning, damn near every week, every other week, another brother who was on his way up, about to become great, done lost his life. And think about the ability it must take to write that poetry. To write that poetry and to strive through all this hell to become successful must be an enormous task. I could not even imagine what kind of task it must be for you to actually be able to do that. To all throw it away, man, in a small, over some small nonsense. And if I could, last point on this is I grew up in the projects and I saw so many brothers, the whole entire generation that I grew up with, damn near, I saw them all die and go to prison or ended up on drugs. I mean, damn near all of them, okay? It's damn near what motivated me in the truth, because it was like crazy to me to see how is it everybody is dying? How is it everybody's on drugs? How is it everybody going to prison? There must be a smarter way to do this that doesn't cost. I mean, I'm just going from a mathematical, practical thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it must be a better way to do this. You know what I mean? Like, got to be a better way. And guess what? I found a better way in the truth. ISUPK. Greatest place on earth for black man, black woman.
Damn right, Joe.
Man. Greatest place on earth. Slop.
Damn right,
I
sir.
made to hog it up. You know what I'm saying?
No, sir. That's wild, sir.
Moving on. Yes, sir. All right, let's go. What you got for me, Dad?
Khan, sir.
We about 10, 15 minutes out, y'all. Y'all hang for us with us out there, y'all. Big shout out to everybody hanging with us tonight. I know it wear you out. The carbon monoxide hit you about 10 o'clock. Hang in there, man. Get this lesson coming from the Most High.
Damn right, sir.
You're gonna get there. After a while, you ain't gonna punch no more clocks. You're gonna take care of you and your people. That's why it's like you gotta raise up the Lord's work and you got the slave on top of it. It's like double whammy. But we're gonna make it. Go ahead, Doc.
Khan, sir. Florida officials urge residents to prepare for Tropical Storm Ian, forecast to be a major hurricane before it reaches Cuba.
Which means a lot of our brothers and sisters are gonna get smashed underneath it. Go ahead.
Khan, sir. Florida is bracing for Tropical Storm Ian, which is expected to rapidly intensify and become a hurricane Sunday before hitting western Cuba. Bringing with threats of strong winds and storms, urges to 9 to 14 feet, according to the National Hurricane Center. It says Ian's expected path beyond Tuesday remains unclear. The storm, which developed Friday in the central Caribbean Sea, is expected to reach the U.S. later this week, with models showing a widespread of possible scenarios. It's too early to tell where the storm will hit, and when and where, and how strong it will be.
That's amazing to me, sir, with these storms, how the Most High, they happen every year. It's hurricane season, they come every year, but they never know how the Most High gonna send this attack. You know what I'm saying? So they constantly watching, is it gonna veer off? They don't know past Tuesday. They can track it up to Tuesday, but with all their technology, they still don't know that thing can take a full turn and destroy every damn thing. We show you they call it nature, but you understand. But we all know it's the Most High controlling them things, and them things
fight for us. When you're on the side of the Most High, those storms and those hurricanes and typhoons and tsunamis, all them things work for our betterment when you serve the Most High. And that's a good thing to know in this life. Because in this life, you can feel just lost. You ain't in ISUPK like the general just said. This is the only place to come for safety. This is the only place to come to understand the troubles you go through. If you go through these troubles in America, man, and all the plots and all the things that go against us, without understanding why this is happening, how this is happening, then you'll just be out there. You'll just pick up a gun. And you won't care about your life. You know what I'm saying? You'll just say, look, I don't give a damn. I can't beat these people. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no listen. I'm just going for mine. And you'll be in this life totally controlled by Satan. You understand? But thanks be to the Lord again for you, sir, Frozen.
That's right.
For holding on to this shit. You held on when Satan tried to overthrow it from the inside. You understand? But you held on. And now, bro, we come have a home. We can sit down. I can look your par in the face. Your sisters out here. We can eat bread and celebrate the Lord's holy days. And the hurricanes can protect us when we need it. You understand? Typhoons, everything. So these stories be important because you really don't know when the Lord going to attack our enemies, man. You understand? So
no, go ahead, Joe. Please. God, damn right. You know what I mean? Damn right. And if it wasn't for y'all, brother, you know what I mean? Big shout out to General Muhammad. You know what I mean? All you brothers, man. If it wasn't for y'all and the captains on down, I wouldn't be here, man. Like, it was y'all's strength. It kept us, you know what I'm saying, doing this thing, you know what I'm saying? So, the why. And all of it being done through the grace and mercy of our King, YAHANNA. We have unlocked the greatest book that has ever been laid out on the face of this earth, brother. And I ain't apologizing for it. I'm going to get into it, learn it, teach it, spread it all over this planet to bring back these 12 tribes of Israel, because it's too valuable to us. It makes us too great. It does so much for us. And that's how you know this is the one book that doesn't come from man. This comes from the Lord. You know what I mean? Because of how much it changes everything that happens with us, man. So, damn right, man. Damn right. So, all right. Where we going? We done on this one? Where we going next?
Houston girl who could no longer see, speak, or eat on her own wins $95 million after dental visit leaves her brain dead.
Damn. Black girl? Damn. Read on. How did that happen? Anesthesia? Good.
Sir. A former Houston dentist has been ordered to pay by a jury to pay the family of one of his young patients almost $100 million after she lost a malpractice claim in court. However, the parents are still left figuring out how to take care of the child who suffered irreversible brain damage after being sedated in her practice years ago.
Damn. It was a damn shame, man. You know what I mean? Sedated the child, and now all that money gone. I mean, all those abilities of the child is gone. And now they find that, listen, and they'll celebrate this as though they did a great thing. You know what I mean? Because they gave this child $95 million. But I'm sure that there's many, many other cases where those children didn't get anything. And forget about before this. Forget about all the years of slavery. Forget about all the years of us in poverty. Forget about all the years of us before we even had civil rights. You understand? Because you imagine everything that had happened and went on to us back then. So it's a blessing that the Lord has shined on her, and, you know, and she's got that money. But there's a lot of cases out there that haven't even been addressed. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we'll see what happens with those. You know what I mean? Now you got two stories I wanted you to bring out after this. The one with the blacks in the cemetery that they covered over, and the other story was the story of that white woman who tried to get her job back after that evil thing she did to that brother. We'll finish with that one, all right? We got about 10 minutes in, a little less than that. We'll just get it in. All right.
It's heartbreaking. People knew the graves were there. Descendants of those buried in paved over black cemetery when bodies moved or memorialized. A recent discovery of hundreds of bodies belonging to an historic black cemetery in Clearwater, Florida, has sparked controversy over what to do next.
And this Clearwater, Florida, that's where that big Scientology is at. They damn near own the whole city of Clearwater. Meanwhile, they probably got that land so cheap because, of course, our bodies were underneath it. Go ahead, Alex.
Khan, sir. Khan. It says a spark controversy of what to do amongst the family. The city and the current property owners were. It's heartbreaking. People knew the graves were there, and they intentionally built buildings on top of the graves.
Damn, knew the bodies was there. And how do you build a building on top of a graveyard without removing the bodies?
Yeah.
Like, what do they just pack the damn ground down? Ridiculous. Go ahead, Doc.
Khan, sir. Khan. It says, child 65 says he grew up in Clearwater, constantly hearing the rumors a graveyard rests in the predominantly black neighborhood of Clearwater Heights. We always knew there were graves there, but we never really knew that many were still there because we were told that they were moved to another burial site.
Meanwhile, they were right there. I'm hoping the story, I see the article ain't saying what building was built on. Let's keep going. Give us a little bit more. I want to know who built what on it. And of course, all these stories, you never hear about no accountability to the people that did it and made the decision. Where was the city at that gave the permit?
Right.
Where was they at? Where were their inspectors at? Like, what's been done to us here is this: if the Lord had this recorded in a book, it's going to be amazing. Like this, they're gonna make movies for the next 10,000 years off of all these stories. Good, General.
Like if this type of travesty happened to white people, of course, they find out whose signatures was on the paperwork. They have a whole roundup. You know what I'm saying?
They pull some 90-year-old Edomite in with the damn oxygen tank on. They roll his ass right in the court and charge his ass right there. Excuse my friend, sorry, I got a little comfortable. Salah.
Khan. What now serves as a parking lot of a lot of private businesses used to be a black cemetery attached to a church dating back to the early 1900s.
So the church was burying you in that area. They obviously bought them out or did whatever evil thing they did to take it and then just covered up. That's why I see how they was able to build on it, because they built a parking lot on the top of the bodies. Go ahead.
Khan, sir. Khan. It says, over the years, mounting questions from family descendants surrounding the buried bodies, kickstarted an investigation in 2019 by archaeologists of the black activists to find out the truth about the rumors of the bodies buried. It says on August 31st, 2021, the archaeologists with the Stantec said they announced their findings after finding ground-penetrating radars to find 328 graves buried in groves believed to originate from the St. Matthew's Baptist Church Cemetery, according to a Tampa Bay Times report.
I mean, shame and disrespect we always have to take. Like, it's endless. It's endless, the shame and disrespect. Ain't no white graveyards being covered over with no concrete, man, and turned into no parking lot. And that ain't happening. You know what I'm saying?
This is thoughtful. When black bodies under there, we're gonna pour in the cement, we're gonna park our cars on it.
Yes.
We're gonna drip our oil and antifreeze on it, and you know what I'm saying? We're just gonna park on them black bodies. This is thought out.
Yeah. Like the Bible says, like how you brought out, they thought this out. The scriptures say the wicked are estranged from the womb. You understand me? That's what it says. They thought this thing out. They plotted it and did not care what they was doing. They know. They got the records. They know who was there. They know what was there, but they didn't care. The wicked don't care about being righteous. They care about whatever's going to fill their coffers with money. That's all they care about. And here you have it right here. They knew the bodies were there. They knew what church it belonged to. They probably got all the names, sir.
Yeah.
But don't care. Yeah. The Bible says, it got the Bible pegs them right in Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. That's them.
Yeah.
That's who they are. So we shouldn't be surprised at what they're doing because they fulfilling their role. Now it's time for us to fulfill ours. You know what I mean? Being preached and prophets of the Lord. Now it's time for us to do our job the right way. You understand what I'm saying? They're gonna be who they're gonna be. Now it's time for us to be who we're supposed to be. Stop.
And that's why you got this. When your eyes is open, you got to stand up in this truth. You understand? You got to stand up in this truth because a lot is on the line. Hundreds and hundreds of generations are on the line. The brothers and sisters' bodies down there, those were human beings. Those were people, man. And like you brought out, how really they look at us like an opportunity. Whenever there's black people somewhere, it's just an opportunity to rob and steal. It's just an opportunity to swindle and cheat and plot and take and gain some kind of way for themselves. And it's a damn shame, Mark. It's a mess.
Gun.
Next story. Come. Dismissed. Judge rejects Amycooper's wrongful termination lawsuit against firm that fired her for lying on a black bird watcher in Central Park.
Yeah, y'all remember that story, right? Where that brother was out there bird watching, and she was out there with her dog, and she was abusing the dog, and yanking the dog and abusing the dog, and the brother said, ma'am, why don't you, stop abusing the dog? He's an animal lover of some type. He's watching the birds. It ain't something black men really do a lot of, at least I never heard of, but you know what I'm saying? And he tried to tell her about treating the dog, and she turned it into a complete lying incident, tried to get him locked up over it. Let me let you dive read it. I just want to give everybody a little recap on that. Go ahead.
The white woman who made headlines in 2020 for calling the police and falsely alleging a black man was threatening to attack her in New York City Central Park has lost the wrongful termination lawsuit against her former employer. She alleged in the complaint that the company defamed her when they announced her firing in the same notice as a corporate statement of the denunciation of racism.
Right. They said we denounce racism and you fired. She felt like they defamed her. You know what I mean? For that. And I think she was an attorney too, right? I'm not certain, but I believe she might have been an attorney that did this. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. Horrible things like this have been done to black men all the time. Here's this guy is in Central Park bird watching. One of the most innocent things you could be doing. And meanwhile, all he does is suggest to this devil to stop abusing the dog. And of course, she turns and fell down on the floor, if I remember correctly, and called 911 and said, I'm being attacked. I'm being attacked out here. And tried to get that brother locked up, man. To show you that Edomite woman is just as bad as that Edomite, if not more dangerous. I mean, after all the history, like you want to have school, teach them white children about all the things that you did to us, like Emmett Till and so many others, where some white woman lied. I mean, this woman admitted it, and they still wouldn't charge her. You understand? She's part and parcel of a murder. They murdered Emmett Till. She was part and parcel of that murder. She's supposed to be charged. There's no statute of limitations on murder. She was supposed to be charged by murder and conspiracy for lying and setting up the whole conspiracy. Yet, she admitted it. They have the confession. She made money off of it by writing a book about it. Meanwhile, the pain that his mother must have went through is unimaginable, seeing her boy swole up after being in that water, after being beaten brutally the way he was. There's no repercussion for that. And the same with her. Even though it's good for the brother that she got fired, but let's get the lawsuit. And where's the arrest for it? You ain't never gonna see it, which is why we gotta circle the wagons around us. Because trying to mingle with them is a mistake.
Come on.
It has been a mistake. It has angered the Lord. It has made the Lord turn against us many times over for not obeying him and instead obeying the gods and the religions of these other nations. And many times over, the Lord said that they are not gods. That these are statues and these are things that these heathens erected. We're the only ones with that God. We're the real God. And of course, we're the only ones rejecting the almighty power, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua, whom we should never, ever be rejecting, man. You understand?
She was a portfolio manager at a New York investment firm.
Which means she's worth millions. She's an investment portfolio manager, meaning they give her a block of cash from tons of investors, and she takes that money and invests that money into the stock market and makes them money on the returns. That's a very powerful job. You don't get that job easy. You understand? You got to go to school for that. You got to have experience. You got to be seasoned. She makes good money. And then goes right out there in the Central Park, and with her anger and hatred against us, she turns around and gets us locked up. That happened to Joseph damn near too.
Yeah.
Remember Pharaoh's woman, that old stink ass hoe? She went and turned around and almost got Joseph killed. You understand? Got him thrown in the dungeon. He had, once again, another case where you may have to go to prison for something you did not do. He was in that prison, man. Okay? And it was a dog-eat-dog prison because he talked to them other prisoners, and they said, man, I'll say something to the king for you. And when they got out there, they didn't think about Joseph. But the Lord was working with him, man. And if not for the Most High with you, you're going to end up in that cage, brother, and you ain't going to never get out. And you're going to be sorry for that. You understand? You're going to be sorry in that day. But Joseph, the Lord was with him and delivered him out of that cage. And he'll deliver many of you. Many of you getting ready to get out of prison anyway. Or especially on them drug charges, especially when they come out with the new ankle bracelets. Okay, you're going to be like RoboCop in your house with them new ankle bracelets. They're not going to be playing with you. But you will be getting out of them cages. They're going to do that with tons of brothers because they're going to need more labor force. You see what they did with the Issacharite brothers, made them firefighters. They're going to need soldiers because the whole world is going to hell. You understand? So that's where we at. Anybody else, you know?
Yeah, real quick. Hey, Don, give me the scripture. Give me Psalm 59, verse what's this? 12 and 13 on this here. Because, you know, she made a comment, so this thing that she was defamed by the judge, right? But how about her defaming that brother when she made that call and lied on him? She didn't care about that, man. That's why the Lord exposed her, and she's not getting her job back. She ain't getting no kind of, you know, whatever she tried to get. The Lord blocked it. You try to come on, you being defamed, right? What about that black man you defamed and lied on?
Right.
And felt comfortable doing it. And know you lied. And didn't apologize for lying. As far as I know.
Yeah.
Well, here's the Lord's judgment on this here for you. You understand me? Here's the Lord's judgment for what you did. Read your diet.
Psalm 59 and verse 12. For the sin of their mouth.
For the what?
For the sin of their mouth.
For the sin of their mouths, man. The lies you tell. Go ahead.
And the words of their lips.
Go ahead.
Let them even be taken in their pride.
Let me tell you, she got taken on her pride, man. You know what I mean? The thing she tried to do to that brother got done to her. She lost more than what the brother lost. Like how Commander GEN.YAHANNA broke down the job she had. Yo, that's a highfalutin job. She lost more than what that brother lost for what she did. For the sin of her mouth, her lies, and the pride behind it, like she's somebody special, and he doing something, all the while she lying, trying to destroy a man's life. Even though he had it on video, she's still lying.
Right.
Go ahead, brother.
And for cursing and lying, which they speak.
That's exactly what happened. Keep on going, brother.
Verse 13. Consume them in wrath.
Go ahead.
Consume them that may not be. And let them know that God ruleth in Jacob. Unto the ends of the earth.
Let them know that the Most High is the power of the nation of Israel and Jacob, man. And that's what the Lord showed. The Lord showed that he was with that brother, not with her. Because she did all those things, and she lost out more than what he lost out, man. You know what I mean? That's judgment from the Most High for what she did.
And she wasn't defamed, actually. That was a good scripture. Yeah.
She
was not defamed. She did lie on the brother, but they didn't lie on her because they linked her with racism. That was a racist act. The things she did never happens to white people. That happens to black people all the time. So that was a racist act. So they didn't defame her. That's why she lost the case. And of course, it was the Lord who made it all happen. You understand? Like what she did could have very well got that brother killed. 70%. There was a more chance that he could have got murdered or arrested innocently, you know what I'm saying, because of her lie, than if he would have called and lied on her. She was in no danger if he called and lied on her. You understand? That's the difference between racism. That's why studies show that black people really can't be racist because we don't have the power to be racist. Our hatred for them, if we had it, or our lie toward them or anger toward them, it doesn't put them in danger. We have that kind of power. But their decisions and their lies on us can destroy our whole family.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. You know,
come on, bro.
My mate said it was a more chance of that brother dying than for her losing her job.
Yeah.
So amazed that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
she was shocked.
Right. Right. She ain't get punished enough. Talk about she was defamed. You know what I mean? Should have been in a cage, man.
Yeah.
Behind doing that, putting that brother's life in danger the way she did, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I want to invite you, man, to pay your tithes. Go to ISUPK.com. That's the website. Pay your tithes. Support this truth. Keep this work of the Lord going. You understand? Hey, check out General Muhammad this Thursday in Nashville, Tennessee.
That's right.
Okay, throwing it down, man, holding down the Thursday night mandatory class, scripture breakdown class. Check him out. They got a whole itinerary going on. Big shout out to the whole Tennessee posse and all the brothers that's going to join out there. Looking forward to getting out there with y'all this weekend. Go ahead, General.
Yeah, I think Friday they're going to have camp, and it's supposed to be a fish fry out there Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Then Saturday, if you want me.
Yeah, please.
Saturday is the cookout. We're going to be getting it in all day. Sunday they got they're going to have a Jack Daniels tour down there in Tennessee. That's where Jack Daniels came from. Originated from a black man, by the way. Stolen by our oppressor, of course. You understand? They're going to do a whole Jack Daniels tour, and a possibility separate from that Sunday we may do a gun range. We might go, pop them things down there in Tennessee. So that's the itinerary.
All right. I'll see y'all. You good? You good?
Sir, come.
I'll see y'all next time live on the UPK, y'all. Big shout out to Marah, Nidaya, Ibar, Captain Shafar, the Paz, of course, in the building. General Monica Allen, General Hassan, General Muhammad will be back next week. See y'all next time, y'all.
Hi, this is Caleb Wells from FilmFestivalCircuit.com and the judging coordinator of the Oregon Documentary Film Festival. Today I'm going to share a short preview for the film The Real Black Sabbath, directed by Harry Robinson from Oklahoma. This film is the winner of the Most Inspirational Film Award. Here is the synopsis. Examining a hate group in Oklahoma, the fine line between fighting for social justice and causing social outrage. University of Oklahoma student Harry Robinson spent months gaining the trust of a Hebrew Israelite branch based in Oklahoma City. He confronted them face-to-face on their controversial beliefs to learn how faith becomes hate, but what he found wasn't as black and white as it first seemed. Here's the director's statement. In August of 2021, I came to the University of Oklahoma on a year abroad from the University of Sheffield, alongside my good friend Adam Dickinson. We had very limited prior camera knowledge, zero prior filmmaking experience, and a lot of ambition. The Real Black Sabbath is a film about conflicts, from racial conflict between the ISUPK and white people to the conflicting feelings I had towards the group. It's a film that I hope leaves the audience asking the same moral and ethical questions that were racking my brain throughout filming. We are looking forward to the audience reaction to this film. Our Spring 2022 event is rapidly approaching on Saturday, April 23rd, 2022 at the